So that's what it says. Okay. Probably here at Matthew, I think we already covered that. It proves here, yeah, okay, so this is a different one. Matthew, when Peter, or Kepa, or Cephas, was told by Christ, Yeshua Mashiach, Jesus the Messiah, you would deny me 3 times before the rooster crows. Right. Is there somebody down here? Yeah, we just further down. Okay, here it is here. This is Matthew 26:69, is that right? Yeah, Keeper, or Peter, sat outside in the courtyard, and a maiden approached him and said to him, you too were with Joshua the Nazarene, or Yeshua, or Jesus the Nazarene, right? He's called the Nazarene in Matthew because in the ancient Galilean Aramaic it was Nusrat, or Nusrat, which means victorious, that he would be victorious. Okay, if you don't believe us, we can go have a look at the ancient Aramaic of Matthew, right? Matthew 1, I think it is, or was it Matthew 2? Can't remember. Have a look here. Okay, here we go. Matthew 2. Where is it? Matthew 2:23. And he came and lived in the town called Nazareth, and it has a footnote there, indication there, so that what the prophets, the Old Testament, had said came to be fulfilled, that victorious he shall be called. And the footnote down the bottom here, right down the bottom there, indicated in the yellow, actually says 2:23. In Aramaic, pronounced Nusrat. Used to know a girl called Nusrat. She stayed next door. Indian girl. We know because we got one of her folders she chucked outside, school folder, and it had Nusrat written on top. So them being Christians, maybe they knew of this, right? It was just coincidence. Nusrat meaning the victorious, or the town of Nazareth. Nazareth. Okay, so it's there. It's right there in the ancient Aramaic New Testament, right? You want to have a look? Don't believe us? You probably can't see it, buddy, old buddy, but it's right there. 2:23. Can you see it? In Aramaic, pronounced Nusrat, meaning the victorious, or of the town of Nazareth. Yeah. So that stops people from saying, "Oh, you're lying, you're lying, you're deceived." You know, well, that sort of crap, right? Okay, just a bit of humour there for that person out there who says, "Oh, don't be silly." Are you my mum? Anyway, just a bit of humour. Okay, so right. So what we're going to do after all that? So that verifies that, right? So he was a Galilean. Okay. Here he goes. Jesus, Christ said to, and Peter remembered the manifestation or the revealing that Joshua, or Jesus the Messiah, told him that before the rooster crows 3 times, you will swear against me. And he went outside and wept bitterly. Yeah. There's probably another one where a lady, or daughter of the high priest, this is in the Aramaic New Testament, came out and she's warming herself, you know, like you see on those Jesus movies, and she says, "Hey, you are with him. You have the same accent as him. So you're a Galilean. You got the same, you speak the same. You have the same accent. So you must be a Galilean." He says, "Oh no, and he got it all wrong there, lady," and runs away, right? Okay. And then the guy apparently says, "Hey, I saw you with that Christ guy, right? Yeah, you too are a Galilean." See, so that verifies that he's a Galilean. Peter was a Galilean fisherman. Christ was a Galilean, right? He was born in Galilee, wasn't it? That's why the high priest says, "Oh, that man of Galilee," or that so and so from Galilee, or that Galilean, right? Okay. So that's why we again have to stress to you that we're at the ministry of the real truth. You know, we're not deceivers, we're not liars, we make mistakes or whatever, right? We correct ourselves, we acknowledge the people that pointed to us nicely, you know, all that sort of stuff, like, give us hell over it. You know, and give them credit for it. Because we are human, we make mistakes, we're not perfect, right? So if we make a mistake in the video, we put it down at the bottom there in a note. Oh, we made a mistake, we didn't define that word properly. Okay, dude, what you said is actually right. Yeah, you're correct about Daniel and the tribulation. Right, that's the tribulation in those days, with in reference to Nebuchadnezzar's dream and what's going to happen to that guy. Okay, it's not talking about NIT, New Testament one, right? Completely different. But yes, tribulation on his kingdom, his people, etc., right? But he does later, after probably the second verse, actually speak of a rapture of people, right, at a later date. Yeah? Those who are asleep, etc., etc., those who died in God, or died in the Messiah, or died in Eosha or Mashiach or whatever, right? That's what it says. Okay? So we're not here to pull the wool over your eyes, right? But what we're going to do now, this is probably like a 4-hour video. Not many people like to read those sort of things or listen to those sort of things. Okay, we've got this Bible here. We've got hundreds of them for the guy out there that says, oh, you got too many books, bro, you should read your Bible. Look at this verse, look at this verse. It gives us 100,000 quotes from scriptures from the Old Testament and New Testament and a whole lot of other junk. Right, so we've got this Holy Bible here. What's it? New Living Translation version, right? Okay, it's got somebody that formerly owned it. He might be out there, but we're still alive and kicking, calling himself the True Prophet, with an extra T on the end, Prophet. Sean Francis O'Dwyer. Name sounds familiar. Dwyer. O'Dwyer. Oh, no, it's Wayne Dwyer, that's right. The self-help guy. And he goes, contact address there. Shall I reel it? No. Again, 2012 AD, right? He's calling himself the True Prophet. Sean Francis O'Dwyer. Okay, this was his book. Yeah. He probably got it at 7th of the 1st, 2013 AD. He sees it. So it's got all this Old Testament alphabetical list of the Bible books, right? In here. It's got some things like how to know Jesus personally, if you want to find out about Christ, right? Abundant life, the life you've always wanted. Yeah, a couple of pages like that, from religion to relationship, and God's direction and God's forgiveness, and just goes on and on like that for a while, right? You get a few pages there. Oh my gosh, we're still going. And it finally gets to page, I guess that's page A42, or it doesn't really indicate, right? Okay. Yeah, okay, I guess that's A43. Right, and it states here, a note to readers. Don't know if you can see it. There's verification. You get a note to readers, so we're not pulling the wool over your eyes, we're not lying or deceiving you, or this other stuff, or blaspheming about it. Yeah, it says here, the Holy Bible, the New Living Translation, this is the one we're reading from, right, was first published in 1996. It quickly became one of the most popular Bible translations. So it's a translation, right, in the English-speaking world. Yeah. While the NLT's influence was rapidly growing, the Bible Translation Committee, yeah, it's a group of people that translated it, the committee, determined that an additional investment in scholarly review and text refinement could make it even better. Right? So they basically revised it, yeah, edited it and all that sort of stuff to make it better. That's what it's saying there. So shortly after its initial publication, the committee began an 8-year process with the purpose of increasing the level of the NLT, the New Living Translation's precision, without sacrificing its easy to understand quality. This second generation text was completed in 2004 and is reflected in this edition of the New Living Translation. Right, so I'm going to read from. An additional update with minor changes was subsequently introduced in 2007. Okay, so they updated it. Right. The goal of any Bible translation is to convey the meaning and context of the ancient Hebrew, Aramaic and Greek texts as accurately as possible to contemporary readers. Okay, so what they're saying there is the goal of any Bible translation is to convey the meaning and content of the ancient Hebrew. So that's what they're referring to, the ancient Hebrew, Aramaic and Greek texts. Yeah, but the problem is they're not the ancient Hebrew, Aramaic and Greek texts, right? these are probably modern versions, right? Modern vernaculars, because if they were the ancient, if they were the original ancient, very old texts from original ancient, very old manuscripts, then they would be from the Leeshana Ateeqa Suppraya of the Ktav Ashuri, okay, or the Syrian Aramaic, and the Ktav Ivri or Avri, the ancient, the original ancient or very old Hebrew, right, and the Greek, right? The classical Greek, the Koine Greek, the very old, the original very old or ancient, right, the original ancient Greek, okay, which is akin, okay, closest in translation to the original Aramaic, right? The original ancient, very old Aramaic in Greek text, right? Oh, yeah, so the Hebrew and Aramaic. Okay, so they're modern vernaculars. They're from modern vernaculars. Okay? But they're not telling you that. Okay, how we realise this again was because we went and looked at James D. Franciscus. Okay, and from what he the Aramaic scriptures video on YouTube, and what he'd put was, you know, he's the expert in, you know, he got 2 doctorates, 2 PhDs, whatever, in the Aramaic, Hebrew, possibly the Greek, right? But he didn't agree because he'd met Victor N. Alexander, apparently. I don't know, 60s or 70s or something like that. He'd met Andrew Gabriel Roth. He'd met Tobias Singer, right? He didn't really agree with Victor Alexander's translations. He says, oh, he's a bit, you know, going into it too deep. Andrew Gabriel Roth was messianic, you know, and Tobias Singer, yeah, he met him, talked to him a bit, or something like that. It's in the comments underneath that video, right? But yeah, if he had the original, right, Aramaic, original ancient Aramaic, then he would have probably got that from Victor N. Alexander and been in agreement with him, right? Same as Andrew Gabriel Roth. He would have been in agreement with him. Yeah, well, he probably was, because you know, Andrew Gabriel Roth apparently translated from the original ancient Eastern Syriac Peshitta, bypassing the Latin Vulgate, Peshitta, Western Peshitta, Septuagint, all that sort of stuff, right? So yeah, maybe they would have agreed there. But with Victor Alexander going right back in from those root words, reviving this old dead language, right? There's a difference. Okay, so those 2 guys, they didn't agree with what he, or that guy did, James the Franciscus, whatever. He didn't agree with Victor Alexander, right? And his translation, in part, especially Pt3, Genesis in English, right? All right. And he says he's doing his own thing, right? And then this James the Franciscus has his own thing, but this other guy had, he's a Messianic Jew, so he's not in agreement with all of them, right? You see, they're not the same, from the same manuscripts, yeah, the ancient or the original very old manuscripts, the Leeshana Suppraya, etc., etc. They got these different versions of it, right? They refer to it, but when you look at it, they're like using the modern Syriac, yeah, or the modern Hebrew to translate, right? As we said earlier, Victor N. Alexander was told by that high priest of that church, right? He says, why did you do the Syriac? It's actually wrong. You should be translating the Ktav Ashuri, because that's what is originally written. Okay? So, yeah, the New Living Translation is a general purpose text, especially good for study, devotional reading, and reading aloud in worship services. We believe that the New Living Translation, which combines the latest biblical scholarship with a clear, dynamic writing style, will communicate God's word power fully to all who read it. We publish it with the prayer that God will use it to speak His timeless truth to the church and the world in a fresh new way. The publishers, October 2007. Yeah, all good. That's all good. But we said to this Christian guy at the supermarket, You know, there's so many different versions, and you're fighting over all that sort of stuff because you want to get on this different level. You're propagandic, you've got motives. You know, you want your church to be number one, all that sort of stuff, right? Okay, which is a fact. Yeah, you're all fighting over it. Too many versions. Why don't you just say, okay, God, give me the Spirit, so I receive the Spirit, the power of the Spirit. Boom, that Holy Spirit is my first teacher, counselor, whatever, according to the Scriptures. Speak God through the Spirit, via the Spirit, through me. Yeah, show me the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, all that sort of stuff, right? Because I'm had enough of fighting with this guy, Christian guy, this JW, this Mormon, this holy roll over here, right? We seem to be banging heads, you know, like, I'm right, you're wrong, all that sort of crap, right? But why can't we be all one in agreement? We all believe in the same God, perhaps the same Christ, right? Or Christ, right? So why are we fighting with each other? Because of a difference in translation, interpretation, terminology. That's the problem, right? So what you're trying to do, say to these people, what you're trying to do, people, is you're trying to take original Eastern texts or manuscripts or what's written in these Eastern texts by these people who are obviously from the East. They've got an Eastern mindset. They've got traditions, cultural things, the language, whatever, right? Okay, so they got this Eastern mindset. So what you're trying to do in the West, you've got a Western education, developed a Western mindset, etc., etc., being indoctrinated by churches, right, to Western theology, the Western Christianity, whatever, right, whatever goes with it. You're trying to merge, you're trying to translate this, you're trying to translate this, the Eastern text, using a Western mindset, right? Because Greeks were from the West, they weren't Eastern, okay? They were a Western nation. So you're trying to translate this, okay, Eastern text from Eastern scribe with Eastern mindset, cultural background, etc., etc., through this, your Western scriptures, okay, your Western Christianity, using a Western mindset. It doesn't gel. It's like diesel and water, or gasoline and water. It doesn't mix, right? Unless some people might say, well, but there's emulsifiers. Well, you have to be pretty bright to know that one, right? And know your ingredients. But yeah, it doesn't gel, it doesn't mix. You can't do it because it's two different mindsets. Okay, so you have to adopt. Okay, pray and ask the Spirit, whatever, the Holy Spirit, give you that Eastern mindset. So that's what I did, and came across this Aramaic translator, Victor N. Alexander, because I was searching for the truth, the real truth, right? Because going to a local church, got confused with these Western texts, right? There was Adam and Eve only. They had Cain and Abel, right? Cain kills Abel, but then he gets banished by God out of the presence of God, right? Whatever. He's sent away. He says, "Oh, that's bad enough. I killed my brother, and now I'm out of your presence, God, right? Because sin can't dwell in the presence of God, right? All that sort of stuff. So he has to go to the land of wandering, right? But he says, hang on, mate. I'm going to that land, right? If somebody finds me, they might kill me. Oh, hang on, man. Your Bible said there's only Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. So, and Christians will tell you there's only Adam and Eve. Yeah, 3 fingers. Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. That makes 4, right? Cain kills Abel. Right? No more Abel. He buries him somewhere. He gets caught out. Gets banished. Right? So he goes off into the land of wandering or Nod. Who the heck's going to be the people that are going to find him? Or he had other sons and daughters. It doesn't tell you that. It doesn't tell you that in Genesis, right? It doesn't make any indication of that until after Cain goes into the land of Nod. Want proof? Think I'm a liar? Think we're deceiving you? Pulling the wool over your lies? Got it all wrong? Right, let's look at your Genesis and your Americanized Bible version. Right, to verify that. Here we go. Right, because people have been accusing us, calling us liars, devils, Satan, all this sort of crap, right? Cowards. So we're coming at you. Full hog, right? Make you flinch. You yellow chicken. Okay, no, just chicken. Okay, okay, here where we are. I've been hanging out with my island friends too long. Okay, where is it? Okay, where is it? I think it might be 2 or something where he kills him. Kills Cain. Kills Abel. Okay, might be 4 actually. Where is it? maybe it's 5 or 6. Okay. Yeah, Cain kills Abel. Okay. Gets banished into the land of Nod. But he has a wife. And she has a child, right? So, ask the question, where did his wife come from? A lot of people say, they had other children while Cain was still there. Rubbish. It doesn't say that, right? There's only Adam, Eve, and Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel, so there's only 3 of them. He gets banished, right? It doesn't mention anything about any other children being born while Cain was still in the presence of God and hanging out with his mum and dad, right? Okay, here we go. The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from under the ground, from the ground." So that's probably when you look at those old maps. There's what's his name? Abel's name is actually something else in the Aramaic, and then Cain's is like Cain or some. It's kind of weird in the Aramaic, right? But he buries him, right? So you have a word. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. What's his name again? Abel's name was actually Havil, right? What's up, Kate? Looking at me kind of funny. Okay, Havil, right? That was his Aramaic name. So what happens is Cain kills him, and then he's buried, possibly buried in the land, in the area of the Garden of Eden, right, way away from Adam and Eve, right. This is how Cain's trying to hide it, that he's killed his brother. Called Havil dash right. Havilah, which is said to on these old maps to have been, or to be today, Kuwait. Okay. So possibly, we don't know because we don't speak the ancient Aramaic, as Victor Alexander does. We'd have to ask him, get hold of him. It could mean Havil, or Abel's land, or Abel's grave. It could be something like that, where he was buried, hidden by Cain. Right? Okay, so there's no children there. There's nothing saying that Adam and Eve had children while Cain was still there. Cain gets banished, right, into the land of Nod, and then Cain. Cain has a wife, right? Genesis 4:5, right? This is Genesis 4:17. Cain goes off, he lays with his wife. Where did he get his wife from? Probably from that land of Nod. He's still Eden. Okay, she gave birth to Enoch, and Cain built a city, etc., etc. Like, carried on from there. And then you got like Genesis 4:25. After it talks about Lamech, it says Adam lay with his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth. Yeah. Saying, God has granted me another child in place of Abel, since Cain killed him. Seth also had a son named Enosh, and at that time men began to call on the name of the Lord. Right? Okay. Whatever that was in that period, according to these scriptures. Right? Okay. So, does it indicate that Adam and Eve had any children while Cain was still there? It wasn't until after he'd gone, right? So he didn't have his sister, didn't marry his sister, and all that sort of stuff. No incest. But there's a silly pseudepigrapha, the Lost Book of Adam and Eve, part 1 or 2, or maybe it might be 2, where Cain kills Abel. But pretty much that, right? But it was over like, apparently Cain and Abel were twins, and attached to their legs were these females. And Cain's like the look of the Abel's sister, lover, potential woman. He wanted her, right? All jealous and stuff. So he goes out, takes him out the field and smacks him on here with a rock or whatever, right? To have her. That's what that pseudepigrapha is, or says. If you don't know what a pseudepigrapha is, go to find that word. It's a book, right? A supposed lost book, not included in the Bible, probably Gnostic in origin, where they say you can't pinpoint who the author is, but you can pinpoint the date that it was probably written, or there, near exact. You can't identify who the actual writer, author of it was, right? but your book might be like from the 7th century or the 17th century. Someone's like, yeah, just made it up to to give people an answer. Well, where did Cain get his wife from? Was it a sister? Well, that's the stuff, right? So he goes into this other land of Nod, and there's other beings here, because he sees himself from his mouth. If I go there, someone might find me and then kill me, right? So if there's only Adam, Eve and Cain, where did these other ones come from? That's why you got to go to the Brita. Where are we? You got to know the Brita. Okay, we're in the wrong place. Oh, still in the wrong place. Okay, Brita here. Okay, you got to read it. We've done videos on it explaining it to you. If these are the original manuscripts, right, the Old Testament manuscripts from the original sacred scribal old tongue, Leeshana Ateeqa Suppraya of the Ktav Ashuri. Yeah, if these are genuine, as what's his name, Andrew Gabriel Roth on his site, the ArameicScriptures.com, has a picture of the Carboris Codex, one of the ancient manuals, manuscripts that he translated from. The cat's giving me evil eyes. I don't know why. Yeah, if that's true, right? He says it's possibly I think he said a 5th century AD copy of a 1st century or 2nd century original, right? If those are the original manuscripts, according to him, Andrew Gabriel Roth, Victor and Alexander, and the patriarchs of the Apostolic Assyrian Catholicos Church of the East in Uri or Odessa or wherever they are, right? Then yeah, if those are the original manuscripts, hidden and preserved for 2,000 years from the Roman Catholics and the Islam, whatever, and not being messed with, then here is your truth here, right? In here, that there was a pre-Adamic man, right? Okay, it's all here. Here you go. God created Aboriginal man first. Okay, but this Professor James De Franciscus says no, he's gone too deep in his comments under that video, his channel, right? His video, right? He says no, I don't believe that Genesis 28, because I think he's gone in too deep. Yeah? Pretty sure that's what he said. Genesis 1:28, or was it Genesis 2:28? I can't remember. Yeah, one of those ones he said under that anyway. Yeah, maybe go back over here. Yeah, because we posed him that question, and that's what he said. I'm pretty sure it's 1:28. No, where was it? Okay. Yeah. 1:28 literal Aramaic idiom. 1:28 literal Aramaic idiom. God created the Aboriginal man first. We've done videos on that. Okay. Because that's what it's covering. So, primates, right, it's not promoting evolution, it's agreeing with science and archaeology. Okay, he doesn't agree with the evolution, Darwinism, because they keep changing their story all the time, apparently. That's what we've read, that's what he said, something like that. Again, you'd have to go ask him for the exact wording he used, you know. Okay. And you couldn't even eat meat, look. 130, NB. There's a note there, 130. And God saw all that he created and beheld, or look, take note, it was truly beautiful. And that was the evening and the morning of the 6th eon. Yeah? Note, predominantly as a source of food, seldom to be sacrificed or eaten. Oh, actually, what was that? 130, yeah. 130. And I give you all the creatures of the wilderness and all the birds of the sky and everything that walks the earth that has a living soul, and all the herds as a source for food. And it was so. It's a footnote indication there. So he's saying predominantly as a source for food, seldom to be sacrificed or eaten. Yeah, what's his name? Abel and Cain told, he's a sacrifice required. Abel did right. Cain didn't. That's why he had the clown frown. Right, he was all upset, and then he went and killed Abel. Okay? It's all here. So again, if it's the original manuscripts, okay, then it's your biblical proof, your biblical fact, right? Okay. Who writes something, right, and then they don't believe in it. They write a fairy tale, right? You'd soon work that out, wouldn't you? Okay, there's different people saying different things, you know. We found that probably may have been influenced by the Sumerians, then the Akkadians who adopted the Sumerian language, their religious ideals, etc., etc., adopted them and adapted them. And then the Babylonians did, and probably the Assyrians did, the Persians did, right? So it all changes over time, right? The Noah's Ark compared to the Sumerian flood, deluge, saga, you know, the Ark, etc., etc. Okay, we've done heaps of videos in our playlist, in one of our playlists, in the beginning, from the beginning, in the truth or something like that. Yeah, all these different people, like Santa Claus looking guy. Is it Finkel? You mean Finkel? Yeah, he tells you about the what do you call it? Babylonian cuneiform text and the plan, the design of the ark, of this boat, coracle, according to that, you know. So it's obviously they've adopted and adapted it, you know, changed a few, tweaked a few things here and there over the years, right? But apparently, in the in regard to the flood, the Mesopotamian records actually say there was a series of floods or disasters in that region, right? Okay, you don't believe us again? Well, looks like you have to go to a book of the histories, chronological timetable. You get a timetable of history, again by, we've already covered this, the new third revised edition by Bernard Grun, based upon Bernstein's Culture Fahrplan. Right, 3 people tried to translate this from the German, and they died, but eventually it was translated. Okay, we have page 3. Here it is here. Yeah, we've shown this heaps of times. The Timetables of History by Bernard Grun. Just take out that book because it fell out. Right, it's page 3 here. Probably can't see it. Way up here somewhere. Right, way up here. Okay, it actually says, probably a bit hard to see it, disastrous floods in Mesopotamian region. Okay, so it wasn't a global flood. So we say, well, yeah, probably the scientific one, the science one of the global worldwide flood happened for whatever various reasons they give. Okay, so we're not poo-pooing science, we're denouncing science, because up here, this is actually agreeing with science and archaeology, right? Archaeological findings of the pre-Adamic man, or the Neanderthal man, explains who the Nephilim were. Okay, and you have the histories of the Neanderthal man apparently merging with the the normal human being, interacting, having a relationship, and then one gets wiped out because the other one's inbred the other one, right? So we have Neanderthal animalistic tendencies, right? Okay, they basically lived off their, or followed their animal instincts. Okay, they were big, bulky, chased animals for miles, whereas the human being created spears and, you know, slingshots and all that, and just went, and then started agriculture and put all these animals they captured, they tamed or whatever, into a corral or something like that. Right? They did things a hell of a lot easier. Whereas the prehistoric man with his big bulky head and his big bulky body chased it across the, you know, wherever the animal ran, and hopefully it fell off the cliff. Yeah, dinosaur or whatever. He'd go down there with all his mates and chop it up and eat that, right? Live in caves. Okay, all those who were in Europe at that time. Whereas the Africans, yeah, in Africa, getting all hot, yeah, heated up because it's nice and sunny down there, whatever, decided to venture over to Europe, that area, right? And come across these Neanderthals, might have taught them a few things and then interbreed. Okay? Eventually outbreeding them. Right? So that's why we have Neanderthal brain, apparently. Features like that according to the anatomy, science, biology, whatever, right, whatever it says. Okay? We have Neanderthal tendencies. Neanderthal man. Neanderthal was named after a guy in Germany who discovered those remains of those pre-Adamic beings, right? a guy called Neanther or something like that, or Neanther, one of those German names like that. Yeah, so that proves there, that verifies there, that there was disastrous floods in the Mesopotamian region, according to the Mesopotamian records. And that's also said by Victor N. Alexander. Right, we came across that as well. Okay, so all this big ark with these giraffes hanging out and these elephants on the water for 40 days, 40 nights, all that. You have a look at the Sumerian ones on the water for 6 days, etc., etc. There's a vast difference. Upancham, or what his name is, becomes Noah, right? Atrahasis becomes Noah, but apparently in Palestine there's a word like Nia, which sounds like Noah, so that eventually was adopted. Okay. So yeah, we again are stressing that we at the Ministry of the Real Truth will always strive to bring you the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but that truth. No hype, no fluff, no other baloney nonsense, right? Okay? People have called us liars, deceitful, wicked, cowards, silly, all this sort of stuff, right? You know, all this sort of crap. Yeah, all untrue, right? We make mistakes, we've made mistakes, we've admitted them, right? We acknowledge you for, you know. Sometimes, one time, not long ago, we had a fight with somebody, or an argument with somebody, well, not really argument, just debate, and then we realised, why are we arguing for it? We're both agreeing on the same thing, so why is this guy at my throat, and why am I at that guy's throat, you know? And to hold that guy, but he kept, you know, trying to, yeah, carry on saying, oh, you're a liar, you're a blasphemer, and all this sort of crap, whatever we could think of, you know, because that's the whole ideal. Okay, I don't know what version he was reading from, or if he was from a denomination or whatever, but they're trying to promote it, right? But that belief system or their ego or whatever, right? Their denomination, the church that they belong to, whatever, and their belief system. So they're on this ladder, example, right? They're on this ladder. They're at the top. They want to be at the very top. You're trying to get up that ladder too. So they're booting you off by slandering you, calling you a liar, whatever they can think of, right? Make assumptions, false assumptions, accusations, whatever. They've got to keep you off that, right? Because you're the opposition. You're the competition, and they believe they're the one, they know it all, they're the chosen one, they got the right scriptures, King James only, all that sort of poo-ha, right? Yeah, so that's how those systems are. You don't believe us? Go have a look at the organised religions, Judaism, not so much them, but Islam and Christianity, right? Debates on YouTube, they're fighting with each other. Well, Christians are fighting, we're the chosen, we've got the right scriptures, all this sort of stuff, right? Yeah, that's a load of rubbish, you're Satan, you get, you know, because we've experienced that. Oh, infighting, you know? But it says here, and it says here. Why can't you be one in agreement? You all believe in the same God, right? You don't have to accept, you know, that, say, Muhammad hopped on a winged horse and flew up to the heavens with Abraham and Moses. You know, if it's common sense and, yeah, logical, and you're in the reality, it's like, well, we've never seen a Pegasus, so, you know, it sounds like it's a myth, right? To validate how divine or how fantastic he was, or something else, you know, right? Oh, actually, I can't think of anyone else that was similar to that, but yeah, you know, because all these gurus, all these people, they say, oh, you had a vision from God, and God said, and they write it down, you know, but behind the scenes, they're like, got 10 wives, 20 wives, they're all young ones, you know, with that sort of stuff, or they're top evangelists and everybody's loving them and they're donating all this money to them to get rich, and you find out the guy's gets busted in a hotel room wearing a dress, right, getting by some other gaybo or gay person, right? Gay person, okay. Sorry, that was just the way that came out. Yeah, someone like that, right? Apologies here. Yeah, it's just, yeah, he gets caught and he gets his church taken from him and all that sort of stuff, right? Yeah, we're not for gayism or whatever, you know. That's what you do. You do it, right? That's your choice, okay? Right? You either have a reward from it or a consequence, you know. Might cut that bit out. Okay, so yeah, got top evangelists that you know, preaching against homosexuality and LGBTQ and all that sort of stuff according to the Bible. You know what the Bible says, God says, whatever. Right? And then they get busted in a hotel room, you know, wearing a dress, getting you know, loved by a homosexual person or whatever, right? And they go, oh, whoa, it's me, you know. Then they lose their church because they go back and the people, well, they founded the church, but they go back and the people that are like the second in command say, get lost, dude, you're no longer welcome here, you know. So they lose everything. Or again they preach all that anti stuff, and then you find out like Bishop Eddie Long or whatever came to New Zealand, and he was the seducer of these two young boys in the Sheraton Hotel, all that sort of stuff, right? Whether it's true or not, you know, he was told, he was asked, well, some people, you know, his people of the same race asked, you know, says, oh, I think we think this guy's of that persuasion. And he's like, no, and then find out that he was, right? Billy Graham, oh, not Billy Graham, what's the other guy's name? Jimmy Swaggart, ripping off the parishioners, right? Hanging out with prostitutes, getting dirty magazines, got busted twice, right? Oh, sorry about that. Oh, you know, won't do it again. Probably got caught again, right? Was it Jimmy Swaggart? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. And then Tammy and her husband Baker, right? Getting rich, you know, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's all Kenny. What's that? Say Kenny Rogers. What's his name? Kenny Everett. Kenny Copeland. All those ones, you know. It's all about the money. Donate the money now. You got to tithe. If you love Israel, John Hagee, you must do it. God says so. And they get fat and rich. G'day. And he's like got a $60 million jet, $6 million house, whatever. Landing strip, petrol. You know, flies to Hawaii. Yeah, flies to whatever, Arizona. You know, big ass jet. Oh, I just buy a big $60 million jet. You know, never mind. All that sort of stuff. And they say you have to be rich. God says, don't be poor. You must be rich, filthy rich. Yeah, it's all what do you call that thing? Prosperity Church rip off. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's quite long, and we're sort of raving on there. Okay, so if you really like this video, which is quite lengthy, then give us a couple of these. Right. Subscribe to our channel. Don't forget that. Set that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these 4-hour videos that we upload. Share it with all your friends, be they Jews, Christians, what's the other one? Oh, Islamis, Muslims, Hare Krishnas, whoever. Yeah, whoever you talk to out there, say, hey man, we really like this ministry of the real truth, because you know, like he said, he's telling us the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, none of that silly stuff, right? None of that hype and fluff, right? Okay. Got all the source links to the sources, the evidence, the experts, blah blah blah, the original manuscripts, right, and what it actually says. Okay, I've looked at this, my version, my American Bible version or my modern version, right, and compared it with these original manuscript texts he's talking about. We had a look at the NIV because we've got one of those. Okay, compared it, especially those verses that he suggested, that he pointed out. Yeah, there's a difference there. What the hell? I think the churches are fooling us, right? Okay, we try to back it up by looking at this one. Okay, we watched this video on the Americanized Bible versions and the Bible Society. The Bible Societies and their lies. Keeps bringing us all this evidence. How can we deny it? Right? Maybe he's got something there. Let's look at more of his videos. Okay, so peace, love, blessings, shalom, shalama, peace be with you, peace be upon you, from the Most High, Maya Allah, or God, and His manifestation, the Muta, Yeshua Mashiach, or Jesus the Messiah. Right, we'll catch you later.